Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Eclectica. I am Seven, and we have Constantine on the East Coast, and we have Drew on the West Coast. How you guys feeling today?
Great, wonderful. How you guys doing?
Hanging in, doing well. Happy birthday, just to start that off.
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir.
Happy birthday, Constantine.
Thank you. I still got leftover Cuban here.
That's what's up. Another year on the books.
Oh yeah, man. Another year. Made it another year.
Awesome.
Well,
let's think of, you guys were talking about Plastic Man. Wow, how did that come up in conversation? What was going on with that?
Our conversation today started off with my shirt, Plastic
Most
Man.
excellent shirt.
And the reason I'm wearing this today is because I made the funny revelation while watching a random Jim Carrey movie that I'm like, dude, if they were going to make a live action version of Plastic Man, he would be the perfect actor, even down to the fact that he has been around for Jim Carrey. He's been around for decades. And I remember way back in the day, his nickname was Rubberface because he had all these wacky, pooped out expressions that he would make while he was doing his thing.
Right.
So it just seems like Dean said himself, it's like perfect casting. If they're gonna go that route and make like a funny, quirky superhero flick, Plastic Man would be your boy, starring Jim Carrey. And it would be, Dean, I'm gonna let you take it away with the whole one of his classic villains that slipped right past the censors.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, you guys ever watched the cartoon show, The Plastic Man? They have the DVD out. I got it. It was one of my birthday gifts today. So that's why I was like, I couldn't believe you were wearing the Plastic Man shirt. He fights a character called the Weed, and it got past the censors. They just thought it was some weed plant. But if you watch the episode, there's like, they're sniffing around. Plastic Man sniffing around and he's like, "What's that smell? Why am I hungry?" Because the weed is actually cannabis.
Hence the weed.
The living thing of pot. And don't bother going to YouTube to watch it, because I looked at it on YouTube, and they edited all of those references out.
And that's probably why I haven't seen it, because the bulk of what I saw of Plastic Man when it came to the old show was on YouTube. So
yeah,
if I do find it, I'll take a look for it.
Stuff.
Oh man, see, that was kind of good stuff.
Everyone's all dizzy and happy and hungry. Yeah, it's hysterical. Plastic Man, a lot of fun.
Well, speaking of producers dizzy, happy, and hungry, Dean, you said you actually saw Fantastic Four.
Finally, one of us did.
Now,
we took that
a lot of people were dizzy from watching it. A lot of people were happy. A lot of people were unhappy. What is the reality? What is the Eclectica official stamp on the new Fantastic Four?
That movie that bombed, it should not have been a Fantastic Four movie. It was a good sci-fi story that the Fantastic Four franchise was attached to.
Okay.
If you watch that movie and you take away the FF, you got a good sci-fi movie.
Okay.
And stands on its own, you were saying.
It stands on its own. But what he was doing was he had a good sci-fi story. He wanted to sell it, and he sold it under the Fantastic Four. Should not have been done that way.
And that kind of segues into what we were talking about with these properties when it comes to the connection between the people who create the comics and these animated series that do well, that are written really well, like we were talking about Justice League before the show. Plastic Man was a part of that conversation too.
That was funny.
They consistently write the characters so well in that department, in the animation department, that a lot of times myself, a lot of my friends, us, we are baffled at how far afield a lot of the television properties and the films will go.
Okay.
And it's like in a perfect world, we would have like a union between the animation department, the production people that are like connected to the films, and all that other good stuff. So I don't know. It's like you can't quite make those pieces come together, but if you could, if you were the mad scientist that was somehow able to make these two departments come together and work to make a cohesive whole, we were saying when it comes to the TV shows and the films, you wouldn't have to have separate universes. You could have Arrow and Gotham and The Flash and all that stuff take place in one universe and still have the films to back it up as well, and they'd all be connected. It could happen. They've done it.
But they would have to also now agree on a vibe, on the temperature when they use with the filming. Because just imagine if Gotham, that vibe, went through all the shows, that would be hot. I think
It could, but at the same time, what's the beauty part about the DC universes, in particular, and Marvel as well, this applies to them as well. You could have funny and quirky and silly and still have the tone of it being very bleak and dark, like how it is in the comics and anime. It could be done.
Right.
Like the fact that Gotham is still known as it's like the Chirac of the DC universe, and yet you still have like Coast City, which is like a laid back, almost like super liberal type of like city. It could be done. It's just we haven't quite gotten to that point where, at least they haven't gotten to a point where they're willing to, I guess, form together like a proper team that would handle that. So they would kill it if they did, though.
Well, you look at it production-wise. I'm talking about behind the scenes. There's a lot of legalities. The licensing.
Of course.
So there's a lot of like Warner Brothers has to really step in and say, this is the deal.
Right.
Kind of like you guys remember that Year Without a Santa Claus and Mother Nature sitting there with Freeze Miser and Heat Miser, and she says, "You allow it to snow in the south. You allow it in the north." That's what Warner Brothers has to do. They have to be Mother Nature.
They have to step in, and basically regulate and allocate.
You allow this to happen, and you don't allow. That's the way it's got to get done.
Yeah, and have them allocate different tasks to make the perfect cinematic television universe. It could be done. Like, they could totally win at this.
It would be smart to do that. Wouldn't that build up to the Super Friends? The Justice League? What we really want? We want the Justice League.
Super Friends?
Come on.
What are you talking about?
The Justice League will always be the Super Friends to me. Stop that. Don't hate.
No, they haven't been. More people on Earth know about the Justice League than they do the Super Friends.
I know what you're saying, Drew, but that Friends ran for a long time. That ran for a long time.
That was classic, man. Come on.
It did, and it's like if I make a superhero series.
I want to play. What was
a Super Friend? Just my ass off.
Those are Wonder Twins.
Oh, the Wonder
Jan
Twins.
And what was the other? Zan and something.
War. I'm a cup of water. Spill.
Form of a block of ice. It's like, talk about getting dicked on your power set, dude. Like, the dude can turn into like water. Not even like he can't even manipulate water and be cool like on some Avatar shit. But it's like you get to form of a glass of water. You don't get to control water, but a glass of water. 5 ice cubes. Boom. And then the other chick, his sister, gets to turn into any animal that she wants, which is a dope power. Pterodactyl. Yeah, I'm just like, damn, dude, she can form a T-Rex, and you get to be my Avion bottle? Oh, you got dick, dog, so...
Oh, my goodness.
You got dick.
Oh, my goodness.
I would be irate
the
if
censors.
That was... so funny. So, another speaking of comic reviews, do you have anything for us, Dean, this week? Anything to get the axe?
Yeah, remember last week we was talking about the comics that got the axe. One, there was such an uproar over it that DC switched gears and said because of the fans, they're going to allow the Omega Men to run the 12 issues it was supposed to run.
Oh, wow.
Remember I said there was a couple that got canceled, and then they said, oh, no, we never said 12 was whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
They were like, supposed to be 12 issues. And Jim Lee hit Twitter, and then Dan Didio hit Twitter. And they're like, all right, that's it. It's running the 12 issues. So
they got their wish, man. The fans have spoken.
Yeah,
and we were talking about this before the show as well. I personally, I like to try to gauge and get an idea on what the industry and what the fans, where their heads are at, by judging on what comics get picked up, what comics get dropped, and which ones are kind of like a middle point. It's kind of funny that so many titles, we were talking about this last week, Dean, it's like they had 10 Batman titles, 5 Superman comics, I don't know, gods know how many Green Lantern comics, and so many of them have been just put to the shelf and canceled. And yet, through all this, a lesser known property like the Omega Men is going strong, and nothing else. It's not like it's getting an ongoing thing, but the fans spoke hard enough to where it can actually finish its run. And what I was kind of gauging from that is it's like, you have the mainstays, I guess you can call them like the first string of DC characters. So many of their properties are getting like put down because of poor performance. And yet the Omega Man, who is definitely a lesser used property and list of characters, they garnered that strong of a response from fans when it was about to get canceled. I'm like, that says something. That says something about the status and like of what people want to see when it comes to their comics. So it's interesting how
It
that
is,
works.
because we'll see how it affects DC going forward. I mean, if they're finally beginning to listen to the fans,
Right.
might see
Right.
another revamp. They don't need to reboot. I mean,
No, I don't think a reboot's necessary. Like if you're gonna
But
start
a
something,
revamp would
stick
be just fine, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look what Marvel's doing with, you guys remember the X-Men 92 cartoon series?
Of course.
Well,
Yeah.
Marvel announced it's coming back, ongoing.
Huh. Okay.
So
Okay.
that's-
See, it's like if you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's all. The 92 X-Men are coming back.
Yeah.
So it's not like DC can't do that with the comics, you know? You know, just like, you know, and I just start over, you know, put Batman back in the blue and the gray and let's get going.
Yeah, it's like every time you start over, it's such a drag. Like because then you have to go and reintroduce all the characters, even though we know the origins 80 times
Yeah.
over.
No,
You have to have an initial story arc, which kind of takes you into the universe. It's a whole establishing unit that we're getting again and again and again, and it's totally unnecessary.
Well, that's why I
totally
think a lot of people are embracing Gotham, because here's a period that they never really touch on.
There's
No,
so much, there's so much lore and things that are going on in that particular universe. That one city alone, I feel, as far as the DC like timeline goes, it's one of the most interesting points in the DC universe. Just because there's so much in history and there's like such I want to say like maybe like a rich type of like it's a rich environment that you can do so much with.
For
like,
specifically for Gotham or straight across the board, if you do that
straight across the
timeline.
board, because Gotham connects into so many other facets of the DC universe. Even this is predating even when before Bruce became Batman, before he was even born.
I mean,
You
like
had
into
Wayne,
Bloodhaven and all that, right?
Exactly. You had Bloodhaven, you had the Court of the Owls in the newer run, which I think is probably one of the best things to come to the Batman brand to be created in the last 20 years, I'd say. Scott Snyder is a freaking madman when it comes
Which
to
is
creating
what
that.
now is part of the storyline of the TV show. It started last week.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Gotham came back last week, and it's about the Court of the Owls. And another side note, the actor who plays, what's his name? Jim Gordon?
Yes.
Uh,
Jim Gordon. I can't recall his name, but yeah.
Up his girlfriend on the show.
He what up with his girlfriend on the show?
They announced they're having a child together.
On the actual, in real life? Or like
In real life, yeah. The
Oh, okay, all right.
Oh,
Yes,
they're dating?
Yeah, well, they're beyond dating now. They
Wow.
actually enjoyed their kissing scenes a little too much.
Wow.
And,
Good
They
choice.
expected baby.
Good choice, sir.
so, but it's cool that they're doing the whole thing with the Court of the Owls, because that connects to the Dick Grayson and his ancestry.
Well, you know, it's
That
so funny.
connects
They
to
could work
so
that
many-
in, because how he could have a daughter and name the daughter Barbara.
That connects to so many other characters in Gotham, to the DC universe itself. It connects to the Graysons, it connects to the Waynes, it connects to the Canes, who were, I just had a freaking brain fart. They're connected to, I want to say Thomas Wayne's wife. That was her maiden name. And they were also they're a wealthy family based in Gotham, and they helped create the city itself. They were in construction, architectural stuff. So a lot of the buildings that you see in Gotham, the Canes had something to do with that.
And again,
And-
Penguin had a rich, Penguin's family
Penguin as well, the Cobblepots.
was a
Yeah,
rich.
yeah.
So it looks like it's going to be a good series, I think, a good season. Also returning last week was Heroes.
Heroes returned last week, and oh my God, I want to almost